Welcome to the HP30 Show on hockeyprospect.com. I'm your host, Rachel Halliwell, and today we have a very special edition of the HP30 Show for you. We were joined by London Knights defenseman Logan Mailloux, as well as the general manager of the team, Mark Hunter. So we'll be bringing you those interviews, as well as some news and notes from around the hockey world at the end. So without further ado, we'll get right into it with our first interview of the show. Now joining us on the HP30 Show is our first guest today, Logan Mailloux of the London Knights. Logan, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It means a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Now that things have kind of opened up a little bit, are you able to kind of get back on the ice training at all?
Yeah, the rink just opened in Windsor a couple weeks ago, so I've been on the ice a lot and still in the gym, so just trying to get back up the pace.
And is there anybody that maybe you've been training with, trainers, off ice, on ice?
Yeah, I went to, a few weeks ago, the rinks weren't open in Windsor, so I headed up to Toronto and I skated with a couple pros. I was on the ice with Taylor Hall and Sam Bennett a couple times. So it was good to get on the ice with those guys and pick their brain a bit and see what they do and their tendencies in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I bet that was really helpful just to talk to those guys even. We're just going to go back a little bit to your minor midget days. I know that you're a bigger kid, obviously, and I also heard that you had lost some weight before the OHL Cup in your minor midget season. Did you find that there was like a change in your on-ice performance at all? Or if so, like what did you notice most about your game at that point?
Yeah, it was huge for me. I mean, I started out my minor midget year, actually, I weighed in at about 250. And then come OHL Cup, I think I weighed in at 209. So I worked with a nutritionist all year and lost some weight, and I worked really hard for that. And I think it showed in my game. I was playing my best hockey at the end of the year when I was in the best shape. So I think it definitely helped my game. It helped me with my speed and everything, conditioning and everything like that. So definitely changed my game a lot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, after that season, we had you ranked in the first round of the OHL draft in our rankings. You ended up going in the second round, 33rd, to the London Knights. What were kind of your thoughts when you found out that you were going to London?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, I dropped a bit on draft day, so that was a bit different. I didn't expect that. That was how it was going to play out. But, I mean, going to London, I mean, it's a first-class organization, probably the best in the CHL. So, I mean, the history they have, the players they've had go through there, is just I couldn't look forward to it more.
Yeah, I know everybody, is pretty excited when they get, the call to a great organization like the Knights. This season, though, you played with the London Nationals. You put up 68 points in 48 games as a defenseman there. What are some things that you felt improved in your game as the season went on? Obviously, you played a lot of minutes there and everything.
Yeah, I think it was huge just being able to play in every single situation. I mean, getting penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5, overtime, everything like that. So I think my skating improved a lot, my confidence as well. They really helped me out, my teammates and my coaches. They really helped me. A lot of the older guys who've been through everything and they've played 5 years, they've all helped me go through the year, and like they give me tips and pointers all the time. So it was good there.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was really good for your development to be there this year. This season, you also practiced with the Knights a lot, though. What was that experience like, and what did you learn over the course of the season that you think will help you in your transition to the OHL for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I was on the ice with the Knights pretty much every day, close to. So practicing with those guys, I mean, there was multiple first-round NHL picks on there and multiple other NHL draft picks and guys who are signed and pros like that. So it was pretty cool to be able to skate with them, and just the high intensity that they practice at every single day. It's definitely different than most usual practices. You can definitely tell how much they want it and why they went in the first round in the NHL.
For sure, and I bet it was nice. I mean, obviously you were in London anyway, so being able to practice with them was definitely an asset for sure, because not everybody lives in the city, or plays in the city that they've been drafted to all the time. Yeah. Could you just describe yourself as a player for those who maybe don't know?
Yeah, I think I'm a two-way defenseman. I can skate well for my size. I got a big shot from the point. I think my first pass is really nice too. I like to play physical as well. I'll get mean and gritty if I have to, but I think I can play a skill game as well. So I think I'm able to run a power play or play on the penalty kill. So I think I can play in every situation.
I would agree. Is there an NHL player that you maybe try to model your game after, or somebody that you think you're maybe comparable to?
Yeah, I think a bit of a mix between Charlie McAvoy and Brent Burns. McAvoy's a good skater and he plays really physical. and he's got a good first pass. But Burns has that offensive touch, and he's got a big shot from the point. He can run a power play. He's got a lot of skill as well. So I like both of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, those are two solid D-men in the league, too. So you're obviously draft eligible for the 2021 NHL draft. So not technically the next draft because we still have to do the 2020 draft, but the one after that. Either way, we're about a year away from your draft. What do you want to improve on in your game before that date comes around?
Yeah, I think just everything, my agility and my skating is going to be a big thing for being a big guy. If I can keep up with everybody on the ice with the smaller guys or even get faster than them, then I think that's going to be huge because I think I have all the other tools to play with them and the skill and stuff like that. And so if I can just get my skating better and just fine-tune my game, my defensive game, definitely I'd like to fine-tune that too, little things here and there, and just sharpen up in the defensive zone.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm sure the Hunters and everybody in the London Knights organization will definitely help you with that throughout the year. So that's all from me. But thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you the best of luck as this season progresses, happens at some point here, and eventually the 2021 NHL draft as well. So thanks for doing this, Logan.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our next guest on the show, we actually have Mark Squared here today. We have Mark Edwards of hockeyprospect.com, and then we're also joined today by Mark Hunter, general manager of the London Knights. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good to hear it. So I'm just going to start off, there's 6 players that competed in the 2019-20 OHL season that are joining their NHL clubs for the 2020 NHL playoffs, and 3 of which are actually from your London Knights team this year. Liam Foudy is in Columbus, Connor McMichael's joined the Capitals, and Alec Regula is with the Blackhawks at the bubble as well. What does it mean to have these guys represent your organization on such a big and unique stage like this?
You know what? We're pretty proud, first of all, of their accomplishments and for them to have a chance to play in the National Hockey Playoffs, just coming from junior, beating out a lot of guys in their organization to get in that position. It's impressive from their side. You know what? It just shows you of individual players here that did a lot of homework during their year. They did a lot of things to get better as a hockey player. Their development curve just took off this year. Michael, he went from scoring 37 goals, and he's up to, you see, the season wasn't even over, and he's going to get 50. So he had a real good season. He could have been the best player, the most dangerous player in the OHL. And of course, you had Liam Foudy. I think after the World Juniors, his game went to another level. Got called up to Columbus during the regular season. Was impressive there. So they have a good viewing of him now. They see what he can do as a hockey player, his speed, his skill, but he really gained some confidence after the World Juniors. And I think that was something that he took his game. And, he could have been the best player in the OHL after the World Juniors. And I just can't say enough about Liam. I think he grew up as the person, matured, got stronger, got faster. It's such thing getting faster. He was fast anyways, but he went to another level of speed. And, of course, you got Alex Regula. I mean, he came in as a 17-year-old for us. Every year, game got better. 18 got a little bit better. 19 got a little bit better. So he got 27 goals this year. Was a net front guy in the power play. Played all key situations. He's super smart. He had to get a little bit more pep in his games and leg strength, and he has. And his shot has got better. But he has an excellent brain.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that those guys are incredibly proud to be representing not only their NHL teams, but also the London Knights in the bubble as well. But we'll move on to some of the draft-eligible players on this team from this year, starting with Luke Evangelista. I spoke to him earlier this year. He's a great kid. Really made some big strides with the team this year, up from 2 points in 27 games last year to 61 and 62 this year. What kind of changes did you notice the most in his game from last season to this season?
You know what? I kind of put it in perspective the same way Dave Bolin. Dave Bolin came into us years ago. Mark, I remember him pretty well. You know what? He struggled his first half of the season as a 16-year-old, and that's where you have to be careful with numbers sometimes. He just didn't feel comfortable, and he struggled. But you know what? Dave Bolin struggled, and then he got better in the second half. Luke, as a 16-year-old. you know what? I think it humbled him, and I think he knew he had to have a good summer. And I think everybody needs to be in a certain situation where you got to dig in, and he did, because he's got really good character. And I think this season really showed what kind of character he had. I think he got 2 points as a 60-year-old, and he got 62. And you put it in perspective, he's got 62 points, and I think he had 1 or 2 points on power play. And a guy like Jack Quinn, he got as many even strength points as Jack Quinn did. So them are impressive numbers for Luke. And the other one is that Dale used him in every situation. I mean, he's like a Bo Horvat who played defensively, played every end of the game, and that's quite an accomplishment for Luke, who Dale have that much trust in him, and he did that. And you know what? He's got lots of upside here. He's still a boy yet, and we expect big things from London. We expect him to be a leader, expect him to put up points, expect him to be at the end of the game, and he will be all them things. And I really believe he'll battle for Team Canada if everything clears up here and have a chance to play for Team Canada this year.
Yeah,
Mark, you kind of stole my follow-up was kind of the Bo Horvat angle, because that's what I saw a lot of too. I mean, they're far from being clones as players, but just in the aspect of how much Dale trusted him, and just Luke being such a smart player, that was one of the things I liked most about him, is just the way he kind of adapted to the way Dale wanted to use him. Could be played in any of those trustworthy roles, the same way that I saw, Bo Horvat in your lineup years ago. But I also thought he adapted well. So when he was playing with McMichael, it was kind of like his focus was get this guy the puck, he scores. And then when he played with Stranges, it was more like the mentality of, all right, we got to go do this ourselves more so, and kind of try to fill the net themselves more than just being that support guy and the support player to a McMichael.
You know what? And that's one thing I think he learned it as a 16-year-old. I think the first half he got down on himself, thought too much and about why he wasn't playing or why he wasn't getting this. He came in this year and just, he had that adversity. I think he made him stronger, and I think it's important that he took it the right way. And you've seen by his game this year, and he didn't get no power play. He could have sat there too and said, well, I should be on the power play. And you know what? He never complained. He had a good attitude. And that's when you see when them kind of players at 16 and 17, him fight through at university at 16, and then at 17 to be in position now, some organizations in the OHL will be playing him on the power play and give him a whole bunch of stuff. Well, we're slowly and gently here. We don't give the kids everything. They have to earn it. And you know what? He's earned a lot of confidence from our organization, what he can be, and he will be a good player for anybody who picks him in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I remember when I spoke to him earlier this year, he had mentioned how much his confidence has improved from last season to this season as well. So definitely something there. But Mark had mentioned Antonio Stranges. He's another draft eligible on the team. He's been somewhat consistent in his 2 years with the team, 34 points last year, 40 this year. What do you think has been the biggest improvement in his game this year?
You know what? I just think it's, he was good at 16. I think he's still got things to work on his game, but his skill level is exceptional. He can take games over. And I think that's one thing I think our organization can really help him do, just to round out his game. And when he rounds out his game, he's going to be a top player here at 19 in this OHL. And I'm a big believer, you have to master one league before you can go to another league. I mean, you see a guy like Nick Robertson who scored 55 goals in Peterborough. There's a reason why he's going up in Toronto now, playing well with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's mastered one league, and I really believe Tony will master this league. He has the skills to. I just think he's got to be more consistent, but that will come. He really is, sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player I just wanted to get a quick take on was Kirill Steklov. We thought he was really steady defensively this year. I thought he was really good in a shutdown role, super consistent. I did notice that he wasn't overly physical, and he's a bigger player. Is that something that maybe you've talked with him at all about, or you or Dale?
Yeah, I think he understood. I think he was a little leery of the language barrier earlier on the first half. A different league. There's smaller rink, and it took some time for him to understand he has to get more physically involved. And Rachel, I really agree with that he needs to bring that element to his game. But he has things that, he's 6'4.5". He skates better than you think. He's got better pop than you think out there. He can get up and down the ice really well. And of course, he's played on every program in Russia. And there's a reason why he's on their teams, because he's a really smart, intelligent person who can adapt to situations, adapt to systems, which, they expect that in Russia. They expect you to know what your role is. And that's one thing about Big Stex, that he gets it. I think he can add some more offense to his game yet. And I think that'll come in this year coming up and next year.
Hey, Mark, we talked earlier this year. I wasn't actually that high on him pre-Christmas. I thought there was potential there, but I really, really changed my mind as the more I saw him, especially in the second half. And one of the biggest things I thought is he just looked like he was more calm and poised and confident. And he started to lug pucks and carry pucks across two blue lines into the offensive zone and that sort of thing. So for me, that was one of the biggest factors, is just a few less mistakes and just playing way more confidently. I do agree that the physical part's got to come. He was almost taking more hits than giving, but really, really steady as far as just a shutdown guy. And I'm thinking about you guys going forward this year. I would assume that he's got to play a big role.
Yes, he will. He'll get tough minutes this year, and at times this year he got tough minutes, and then we had to back him off a little bit. And that's one thing about the OHL, when you get playing against the other team's top players. I mean, that's, we had the one line with Michael, Foodie, and Luke out there. That's a tough line for any defenseman to defend and some other team. And it's Big Sticks was doing that sometimes, and then we'd have to back him off. But I think sometimes with even a guy, first guy in the year in the league, I think it takes time. But then with the arena size, the language barrier, the first half of the season, you really didn't see what he was all about. And the second half, he started to come on like gangbusters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a hard adjustment, especially, when they're so young like that, just to come over. And, there's a lot of barriers going on. But once they get comfortable, you really see them come out of their shell. But we'll switch. Yeah, we'll switch from one big D man to another one. Someone who might not be on most people's radars as of yet, but we have included him in our early top 32 for next year's draft, is Logan Mailloux. He's a big D man, cannon of a shot, had a big year with the London Nationals this year. Can you just talk a little bit about his game and what a player like him brings to your team?
Well, we're really looking forward to him playing for us for the London Knights. We're excited about him. He's really hungry to get better as a hockey player. He's been chasing ice with this virus all over Windsor, everywhere, trying to get on the ice. So he's really hungry to get better. And I think it's important that every hockey player, they got to keep on improving. And he really wants to do that. But with the package he had a great year in Junior B, the Nationals. He was off the charts. He was voted the Rookie of the Year in that whole league. And there was quite a few teams there. There must be 40 teams in that league. And he was I think, got 70 points. I think he was first All-Star. He knocked a lot of things out of the ballpark. And you know what? I think scouts are really like this. He's big, strong, skate. He's just got a really good package.
Yeah, Mark, sorry, Rachel, we talked briefly about him just actually when I told you that we included him in our early top 32 for next year. Had the privilege of actually being on the call here and interviewing him before Rachel interviewed him just a little earlier today. Really impressive kid. But the tools are all there.
Yes.
For me it was just a little bit raw. It was almost too easy in Junior B to, when you saw him in the post Christmas games, to the point where he was comfortable in Junior B. He was just dominating, almost too easy. But one of the things I really liked is that he played, and I mentioned this to him earlier today, he played the same way when he played for you guys, whether it was the 3 shifts in one game or 12 shifts in another. He didn't come in and look like a deer in headlights at all. You could tell that he had practiced with you guys, and he just played his game. He played confident. He still skated the puck. Guys threw him a little bit of power play, I think, in the Windsor game. So I thought that was a really good look for him as a guy that was just getting his feet wet. As I mentioned to him, he did not look like a kid who was playing his first shift in front of 9,000 people, going from London Nationals, where there might have been 90 people. So I think that the upside is clearly there. One of the reasons we put him in the top 32. Did you talk to him much last year? Like, were you going to Nationals games and just having a little quick post game chat with him?
You know what? We went some games. I went like 3 or 4 games. I went and seen him played. But you know what? With the video, we our coaches and myself and Dale, of course, too, and we'd watch his games and then we'd analyze it and we'd talk to him and cut tape and what he was doing good and what he's doing bad. You know what? He's just got to make sure what's part of the game that you're at. If you're winning 3-1 and not trying something risky and doing something where you don't need that risky play at that moment of the game. And I think he's just needs to learn that a bit more. And I think I know he will, but you can't just get away from his. And he's got some grit. He'll pound some people. He's a big body.
Yeah.
He'll take the body and he'll wipe guys and stop that cycle, which. You know what? It's hard to do to stop that cycle. You need strength, and he has that strength with combination with skill. And in this game right now, it's nice to have both.
He's not missing much. The size, he's mean, the skating, cannon shot. There's a reason we put him in that top 32 coming out of junior D.
Yeah, and we mentioned that he practiced with you guys all year long. When we were talking to him earlier, he mentioned that he's really excited to play and he's really hungry. And we were just talking about the adjustment that sometimes first-year players in the league. I know he got into a couple games this year, but he didn't really have a full year or anything like that. Do you think that the fact that he did practice with you guys all year long will help his adjustment to his first year in the league this year?
Yeah, it will. I think one thing, a lot of development. We do a lot of development in London. We're constantly, shooting, passing, all the skills he needs to be as a player. So, you know what? He's done a lot of schooling, so his legs have been built up in playing or practicing against the Foodies and doing one-on-ones against Liam Foodie and one-on-ones against Connor Michael. That's only going to get you better, and so he will be confident in his ability that he can start out and have a strong season and starting with a good idea that he knows what Dale's going to do at practice. He knows what in the video, so he came on road trips with us, so he has a good understanding of what's going on. So it's not going to be all deer in the headlights.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes the adjustment a little bit easier. But that's all from us today here on the HP30 Show. Thank you so much, Mark Hunter, for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. We'll talk to you soon.
As we wrap up the HP30 Show for today, I just once again want to say a massive thank you to our two guests, Logan Mailloux and Mark Hunter, for taking the time to join us today on the show. I really appreciate them taking time out of their day to chat with us. In regards to the Luke Evangelista interview that I mentioned in the Mark Hunter interview, there will be a link in the description of this episode for anybody that wants to give it a listen. Just some news and notes from around the hockey world now. There are 6 OHL players that played in the 2019-20 season that will be competing in the NHL playoffs for their squads. Those all kick off on August 1st. Nick Robertson of the Peets will be playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ty Dellandrea of Flint and Thomas Harley of Mississauga will both be representing the Dallas Stars. And like I mentioned earlier, there are 3 London Knights that will be competing as well. Connor McMichael will be competing for the Washington Capitals, Alec Regula for the Chicago Blackhawks, and Liam Foodie for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Some top prospects have been busy this week as Team Canada's virtual National Junior Team Summer Development Camp has been underway from July 27th to July 31st. Some of the 2020 draft eligibles at camp include returnees from the 2020 gold medal winning team, Jamie Drysdale, Quentin Byfield, Dawson Mercer, and Alexis Lafreniere. There are 21 other 2020 draft eligible players attending the camp as well, so definitely something to keep an eye on. It's also notable that 16-year-old Shane Wright has been invited and attended the camp as well. He's the only 2022 draft eligible invited player, only a 4-born player. There's no 3-born players that were invited either, so definitely just something to keep an eye on. On behalf of everybody here at hockeyprospect.com, we also just want to extend our well wishes to the Howard-Chuck family as Dale continues his battle with cancer. Just wanted to say that they're in our thoughts and prayers, and we're sending them the best wishes and well wishes that we can. So that's everything for this week's episode of the HP30 Show on hockeyprospect.com. Make sure to subscribe. Check out the website for other interviews and everything like that. If you're looking for something to add to your summer reading list, our 2020 NHL Draft Black Book is available on our website and on Amazon.com. If you want to take a look, download it, get ahead on the 2020 draft, which will be coming up later on in October. But that's everything from me today. And as always, have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next episode.